Welcome back, heroes, to another episode of training. Throughout all of history, various systems of magic, from yogic teachers to mystic masters, have emphasized the importance of how we hold our hands. Marvel knew this, and when they created the movie Doctor Strange, they developed a system of hand configuration to represent the casting of spells. This system of movement is based on a form of dance known as tutting. And the foundation of tutting comes from our ability to articulate our joints into 90-degree angles. This is a dexterity practice. It emphasizes the mind-body connection between our hands and our ability to control how they move around us. It's also an amazing way to increase the longevity and strength and health of your joints. You may be wondering, why is it that the hands are so related to magic? Well, maybe consider the fact that the hands are a primary method for engaging and creating within the world. So just maybe, by training our ability to control how our hands move through space, we expand our capacity to create impact in the world at large. Are y'all ready to go on a journey with me? It begins by learning the basics. When it comes to tutting, we have to know how to control this 90-degree angle. A very common point of compensation that people will begin to do is called duck hands, which comes from the slight bending of our fingers, right? So you may find that as you're going through this, you can't quite make that 90-degree angle. It's okay, but we are gonna fight to control to get that good angle as much as we can. And it's not gonna be easy. It's this training. Through practice, your ability will expand. Let's begin by meeting in a prayer position together and just give those wrists a little bit of a warm-up. Starting by pressing your fingers together and beginning to drive your wrists down. Make sure your wrists don't separate. Keep pressing together. You can add a little pulse here as you just warm that angle of your wrist up. Maintaining that good tension, let's start to rotate our fingers forward, and then keeping the press nice and strong, drive your fingers down towards the ground and feel how your whole body comes alive. Good, slowly rotate those fingers back up to the sky, and then keeping that press, turn those fingers back towards you. Beautiful. Coming back to the sky, pressing those fingers forward, and then all the way down. Okay, take a second, shake it out. Good work, friends. Let's find that 90-degree angle again as we extend our arms to a T position. So just check out your fingers. Are you finding those duck fingers, or can you pull them back a little bit more towards you? From there, take your fingers and rotate them to face down towards the ground. Maintaining that good 90-degree angle as we fight to strive for that T position. So we have the fingers facing down. We also have the fingers facing up. Let's go back and forth. Fingers face down, fight for that angle. Fingers face up, feel the engagement as it moves through your whole body. Beautiful, one more time. Fingers face down, drive for that 90-degree angle. Fingers face up, pull those fingers back, and then we're gonna bring those fingers forward in front of our face again. From here, open back out to a T, and then again, switch those fingers to face down towards the floor. Good, take a moment, shake it out. So you can begin to notice how just by moving these hands through various positions around your body, you create different forms of engagement through your whole structure. Bringing those hands forward again. Fingers drive back. We're gonna rotate the fingers down to the ground, and then we're gonna bring them back out to a T. Let's begin to play around. Follow my lead. Fingers up, bring them forward. Fingers down, bring them back out to that T position again. Drive and fight for those good angles, friends. Fingers go up towards the sky, pull them back to your face. Fingers go forward, and then rotate them down to the ground. Again, fingers out to the T, and relax. Take a second. Become aware of how the way that you control your hand actually engages tension all the way up through your body. This is not an isolated exercise. If you're doing it right, you should feel this as a full body movement. And as we move around to different positions, that sensation will change. So meet me again with those hands forward out in front, those fingers down. Flip the hands up, back out to a T. Follow along, my friends. Fingers go down, drive. From here, bring the hands forward, fingers down to the floor. Fingers go up to your face, and again, open out to that T position. Fingers go down, drive. Fingers go forward, lift back up to your face, open back out to that T position. Take a second, relax. Notice your alignment of your structure. See if you can bring any imbalances that you might be aware of back to a neutral center. Take a breath and reset. From here, fingers face up, press them forward. And we're gonna turn our hands inward and then try to turn your hands out. Feel the tensional engagement that creates. Hands go up, then turn in, pull those fingers back. Hands go up, then turn out, pull those fingers back. Again, hands up and in, hands up and out. Beautiful. Take a second. We're beginning to establish different possibilities and ways that those hands can move. They can be in front of you, out to the side. They can go down, they can go up. There's also different levels in which they can move. For example, full extension, halfway back towards your body, all the way back towards your body. We're gonna call full extension level 3, halfway level 2, all the way back level 1. Let's try this together. Hands come, fingers up all the way to full extension. Keep those fingers up, pull to level 2, and then pull all the way back in line with your body to level 1. Rotate the fingers down to the ground. Press them forward, level 2. Press them all the way forward, full extension. Hands slip up to the sky, turn them out. Let's try it here. Pull back level 2. Pull all the way back to your body, level 1. Fight for those angles. Press forward, level 2. Press all the way forward, full extension. Rotate those fingers up. Let's try it with the fingers turned in. Big breath, and pull back to level 2. Fight for those fingers in. Pull back all the way to your body. Press forward to level 2, and then press forward all the way, full extension. All right, shake it out. Very good work, my friends. Again, we've discovered new landmarks. We have out to our side. We have the full rotation of our fingers going in or out. We have these 3 levels of extension. Let's play around. Full extension, turn the fingers down, turn them in, turn them out. Flip them back up, see if you can follow the pattern. Fingers go down, drive. Fingers go in, press. Fingers open out, fight for those good angles. Lift those fingers up to the sky again. Fingers down, a little faster. Fingers in, fingers out, follow along. Fingers up, fingers down, fingers in, fingers out. We're training now. Fingers go up, drive. Pull them back to level 2. Fingers go down, in, out, up. At level 2 again, fingers go down, in, out, up. One more time, down, in, out, fingers go up. Let's pull them back all the way to our body. Try the same pattern. Fingers go down, in, out, and up, down, in, out, and up. One more, down, in, out, up. Press them forward. Very good. Hold it. Fingers go down, drive. Fingers go in, fingers go out, fingers lift up. Pull back level 2. Fingers go down, in, out, up. Pull back level 1. Fingers go down, in, out. Lift those fingers up. Press the full extension. Again, fingers go down, in, out, lift up. Pull back level 2. Fingers go down, in, out, up. All the way back to your body. Fingers go down, in, out, up. Beautiful stuff. One more time here. Down, in, out, up, and then press forward before relaxing and letting that tension go. So, if you're doing this right, friends, you should be feeling engagement through your whole body in a different form as it's fully extended, as it's halfway extended, and as it's pulled all the way back. We also have these at levels to different degrees of height on our body. So level 1, fully extended to our hips. Level 2 rises to our chest. Level 3 comes to our shoulders. And level 4, we press overhead. Kind of cool, right? Let's reverse that. Bring it down to level 3. Your elbows line up with your wrists. Press it to your chest. Elbows line up with the wrists. Press it down to the hips. Again, lift to level 2. Level 3, press overhead with those fingers facing forward. Lower down, level 3. Level 2, and then press to the ground with those fingers facing forward. All right, let's explore those new positions with a different hand configuration. Turn your fingers out. Lift to level 2. Level 3, and then press overhead. Try to fight those duck fingers. Get that good angle, good control. Lower down, level 3. Level 2. Press down, level 1 to the ground all the way. Turn the fingers in. Let's try it again. From level 1, we rise to level 2. From level 2, we lift to level 3. From level 3, we press all the way up overhead, fighting for those good angles as we drive to that overhead landmark position. Breathe and fight for that control here. Your whole body should be working. Let's turn the fingers out and then in at the top. One more time like that. Turn the fingers out overhead, bring them out to a T. Turn the fingers down at a T, bring them back in front. Turn the fingers up in front, face them back down to the ground, pull to all the way to your body, flip them up, press them down, press to the ground, fingers forward, fingers back, fingers in. You see how it starts to combine together and we begin to be able to play these different configurations. Let's see where the walls are. With our fingers in, lift up to level 2, level 3, and see if you can press overhead. Relax. You may find that you're not actually able to get to certain dead ends. Just beginning to understand where our capacity goes and where it ends. And feeling how the tension through your whole body begins to engage as you move through the limitations of your range. Fighting for those good angles. All right, let's have a little bit more fun with these new landmarks we've discovered. We have full extension, we have halfway, we have all the way back. We have all the way down to our hip, we have level 2, level 3, and all the way up overhead. We have our hands in, out, down. Let's try going all the way to our hips, facing our fingers in, and then turning our fingers out. See if you can follow along. With the fingers out, we're gonna lower to a finger down facing prayer. And then flip fingers up to the sky, upward facing prayer. Fingers down, downward facing prayer. All the way to the hips, fingers in, fingers out. Follow along here. Fingers go in, fingers lift up, level 2. Fingers meet in the downward facing prayer, and then flip to an upward facing prayer. Turn that prayer towards the ground. Extend, level 2, press it down, and then flip those wrists to face out. Very good. Again, fingers turn in, lift it up, press together, downward facing prayer. Press as you flip that prayer back to center. Turn the prayer towards the ground, extend it out, press to your hips, and then flip those wrists. Very good. Again, fingers in, lift up, meet in that downward facing prayer. Flip those fingers to the sky, upward neutral prayer, and then relax. Catch your breath. You should be beginning to recognize how we are combining these together. Now, we can start to form different shapes with these angles we create. Check it out. We're making a box. So meet in that prayer position. From here, we're gonna take one hand and we're gonna lift it out, fighting for those good angles on both sides. So pay attention to this elbow, lift it high. Pay attention to this elbow, duck it under. And from here, you may notice we're creating 3 sides to a box. Meet back in prayer. Let's take that box to the other side. Lifting one hand up to make the roof, really fighting for that angle. Come back to prayer. Very good. We make a box on one side, and then we meet back in prayer as our neutral position. We take that box to the other side, fighting for those angles, and then we meet back in prayer. Create that box. Meet back in prayer. Fight for that good shape. Meet back in prayer. Congratulations, friends. You've unlocked your first shape. We started with angles, and now we're making shapes. Meet back in prayer. Take that box one side to the other. Using that prayer as a rest in between, and notice how we can start to take this new shape that we've unlocked and move it through these different levels of our body. So meeting in prayer, let's make a box on one side, let's lower it down to our hip, and then bring that box back up. So we have a box at our hip level, box at our shoulder level, meet back in prayer, take it to the other side. We make a box at the shoulder level, lower box down to the hip level, bring that box back up to the shoulder level, meet back in prayer. We can then take our shape and begin to explore these different landmark levels we've created. Moving from that shoulder down to that hip, moving from that hip back up to that shoulder, meet back in that prayer position, other side. Create that box. Now move that box down to that landmark at your hip, bring it back to your shoulder, and meet back in prayer. Let's have some fun with this one, my friends. Follow along with me, okay? We start by creating that box again, get a little stretch of the wrist, get ready, and from here, create that good shape. Nice box. From that good box, we're slowly gonna lower down to the hip. From here, we're gonna lift back. Notice there's a midpoint, and in between, we have the box at our halfway. It's the same shape, just at the halfway between our shoulder and our hip. Bring back to the shoulder, lower down to your hip, stop at that halfway point. See that box from the top. Come back to your shoulder, meet back in prayer. Let's do the other side. Create that box. Back to prayer. Create that box. Lower to hip. Now we'll meet in a downward facing prayer, and we'll just switch the box from side to side at that hip level. Bring it back to shoulder, meet back in prayer, other side, create the box. Lower down to middle. And then we can come to a forward finger facing prayer as we switch that box from side to side at this midpoint. Kind of cool. So we have our middle box to forward facing prayer. We have our lower box to downward facing prayer. Our upper box, normal neutral prayer. With these positions, we are going to begin to move that box around our body, orienting that square through these different positions. And as you start to establish these landmarks, what will begin to develop is a form of flow, a form of exploration, where you can intuitively begin to explore where you want to move these shapes in relationship to how it feels for your body to move around. And this is where your flow begins to unlock and the magic begins to form. But first, we have to become very familiar with all of these landmarks and positions so that we can flow through them effortlessly. Let's give it a try. Meeting in prayer, let's make that box. Lower that box down, meet in a downward facing prayer. Switch your box to the other side. Lift it up to your shoulder. Try to get that good angle of the elbows. Notice if you're starting to kind of fudge those lines, bring it back to that center prayer, fingers facing up. Switch, lower, downward facing prayer. Fight for the angle. Take that box to the other side, lift it up to your shoulder, back to prayer. Notice we are moving around our body in a direction, right? What happens if we take it the other direction? Make that box, lower down, downward facing prayer. Switch that box to the other side, and then lift it back up, meeting in that neutral prayer position. Very good. Again, make that box, lower down, downward facing prayer. Switch the side of that box, lift it back up to your shoulder, meet in that neutral prayer position. Awesome. So we went one direction and then we changed the direction of our orientation. Let's try it again. Make the box. This time we're going to stop at that halfway point and we're going to meet in a forward facing prayer. Switch the box to the other side. Bring it back up to your shoulder. Come back to prayer. Beautiful. Change directions. Make that box. Lower down halfway, forward facing prayer. Switch that box, lift it back to your shoulder, meet in neutral prayer again. So this time we only went halfway across. Follow my lead. Make the box, lower down, forward facing prayer. Switch the box, lift it up, upward facing prayer in neutral. Change directions. Make the box, halfway down, finger forward facing prayer. Switch the box, lift it up, neutral upward facing prayer. Very good. From here, shake it out. We're going to begin to move through our body in a Z configuration. So we went one direction. Now we're going to use that midpoint to create a new pattern. From here, make your box, lower down, forward facing prayer. Switch the box all the way to your hip, downward facing prayer. Very good. Fight for the angle. Switch the box, lift it to halfway, forward facing prayer. Switch the box, lift it up to your shoulder, neutral facing prayer. Let's go the other direction. From your prayer, make your box at your shoulder, lower down midpoint, forward facing prayer. Switch the box to the other side, lower down to your hip, downward facing prayer. Switch the box, midpoint, forward facing prayer. Switch your box, shoulder, neutral facing prayer. Very good. Switch directions. Shoulder box, midpoint, forward facing prayer, a little faster. Switch the box, lower to your hip, downward facing prayer. Switch the box, midpoint, forward facing prayer. Switch your box, shoulder, neutral prayer position. Beautiful work, my friends. Again, you can shake it out and just take a moment to appreciate this new pattern that you've unlocked. Fantastic work. Again, this is only the foundation. This is only the beginning of something that unlocks an incredibly powerful, somewhat magical capacity. When you know where these landmarks are intuitively, you can begin to flow and explore how it feels to move through them in what becomes a freestyle dance. Let's play around. Neutral point. Make the box. Midpoint. Forward facing prayer. Switch the box. Lower down. Downward facing prayer. Let's go. Switch the box. Midpoint. Forward facing prayer. Switch the box. Shoulder level. Upward facing prayer. Change directions. Box. Midpoint. Forward facing prayer. Switch the box. Lower down. Downward facing prayer. Box. Lift. Forward facing prayer. Switch the box. Shoulder level. Upward facing prayer. Very good. Again. Take a breath. Press those fingers. Reset. Let's get it. Make your box. Boom. Get the angle. Lower down. Forward facing prayer. Press. Fight for those 90 degrees. Switch your box. Down to the hip. Downward facing prayer. Keep it going. Switch your box. Lift to midpoint. Forward facing prayer. Switch your box. Lift to shoulder. Upward facing prayer. Let's take it the other direction. Make your box. Lower down. Forward facing prayer. Switch your box. Lower to hip. Downward facing prayer. Box. Lift. Prayer. Switch. Lift. Back to your center prayer position. Incredible work, my friends. Feel what this is doing to your whole body as you move through these different landmarks and positions. Take a breath and reset. From here, let's unlock our next shape. Taking your prayer, you're just gonna take one hand and you're gonna flip it to the ground. We'll call this our flipped prayer position. Come back to your neutral prayer and just switch the other hand. Other hand goes down to the ground. Boom, very good. Come back to your neutral prayer position. Maintain good tension as you do this. Fight for those good angles. One hand flips down. From here, we're gonna press our hands across. Come back to that flip prayer. Reset to neutral. Other side, take that hand to the ground and press those hands across. Bring it back to neutral and flip that prayer. Let's unlock our rectangle. Taking that hand, flip it to the ground. Press those hands across. Now pay attention. One hand's gonna flip up, the other hand's gonna flip down. From here, we flip both hands and we create our second shape, a rectangle. Let's slide the hands together. Take the top hand, drop the forearm to meet the palm, slide the bottom hand out, and look, we've created our square again. Meet back in that prayer at the center. Very good work, my friends. Let's try it again. Take the other hand, face it to the ground. Press your hands across. Take both hands, lift and flip. I'll do it slow. Lift and flip. Touch them together. Top hand drops forearm to wrist. Create that good angle. Slide the bottom hand out. And once again, find that nice square position. We've learned how to transition from our rectangle to a square. Let's play around with it a little bit. Taking one hand, flipping it to the ground. Take those hands, press them across. From there, you know what to do. Nice and slow, follow along, flip to your rectangle. Beautiful. Top hand, bottom hand come together to meet. Drop the forearm to meet the wrist, slide across, make your box, drop to neutral, other side, let's play. Flip the other hand to the floor. Press across. Flip to your rectangle, draw the hands together, drop the forearm, slide to your box, and again, meet back in that prayer position. Follow along with me, friends. Other hand, flip it down, press across, flip to your rectangle, draw the hands together, drop the wrist, slide to your box again, meet in prayer. Other side, one more time, flip it, press it, rectangle unlocked. Draw the hands together, drop, slide to your box, and meet again in your prayer position. Beautiful work. It's kind of amazing, isn't it? How beginning to unlock these angles starts to create these shapes and starting to know how to move these shapes around your body from your lowered position to your middle, to your shoulders, to overhead. We also have more landmarks. For example, we can take those landmarks that we established and we can rotate them. So this would be a rotated landmark 1, 2, 3, 4. Other side 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's try it again. Lift to 2, 3, overhead, switch, lower 3, 2, 1. Let's rotate at the bottom. Take it to the other side. Lift, 2, 3, press, switch, 3, 2, 1, down. Go up, 3, overhead, switch, down, down, press. Amazing. Take a second, catch your breath, reset. So we have those landmarks at our side. We have those different configurations of how we can flip our hand. We have those shapes. We have the landmarks up and down our body. We can take those and we can rotate them. Again, my friends, this is just the beginning of what starts to unlock a very epic practice. You can begin to create all sorts of different shapes with your hands and explore these same landmarks. In future trainings, we will go deeper into what this can do and how you can expand this practice. But where this truly becomes magic is when you begin to embed meaning into these ways of postural configuration. For example, let's say that you're stressed and you want to learn how to pattern and ingrain a sense of well-being and peace. Well, every time that you feel that sense of peace, maybe you hold your hands in a certain way. And then when you're needing that sense of peace, you can bring your body back to that tensional configuration. And through holding yourself in that way that you've patterned, you can actually remember that state that you've ingrained. And where this becomes even more potential filled is when you start to make the shapes representative of what you're drawing in. For example, let's say I'm trying to call in inner vision. Maybe I will take a specific configuration and I will point it at my third eye, because for me, that represents where my inner vision is held. We can even take it a step further. Maybe I want to draw in my ability to receive from the universe. So I take my hands and I open them up, because this open palm gesture is a universal sign to receive. Now, what happens when I start to combine those patterns together? When I take my inner vision and I ask to receive guidance, I can take those two postural configurations and I can start to chain them, and I can start to pattern and form what is an embodied hand spell. And this is science, friends. This is not mysticism. People have been practicing ways of holding their body to elicit specific states for as long as we've been. This is just another layer, a deeper way in which you can begin to unlock the potential for how you hold your body in space to draw forth specific things that you want to be and live within this world. This is only episode 1 of Dr. Strange Training. Thanks for joining, heroes. I'll see you in the next episode.